Hello, my name is Edgar Allan Poe. I was born on January 19th, 1809 in Boston, Massachusetts. When I was about 2 years old, my mother had passed away, and my father had abandoned the family. I had two other siblings, Henry and Rosalie. Henry went on to live with our grandparents, while Rosalie and I went on to live with other families. I was taken in as a foster child by the Allan family, and my foster father, John Allan, had been a successful merchant. This allowed me to get into good schools and surrounded me with a good atmosphere. When I was 6 years old, I went to school in England for 5 years. There I learned Latin and French, as well as math and history. I later returned to the United States and continued my studies there. I attended the University of Virginia at the age of 17. Although my father had plenty of money, he only gave me a third of what I needed for school. I was very capable of graduating from the university since I had been very good at French and Latin. But since I was in debt, I turned to gambling in order to try and pay off those debts, and also an alcoholic. These actions led me to quit the school less than a year later. Starting when I was about 13 years old, I grew a love for poetry and began writing poetry all the time. When I got older, I started off as a literary critic and worked with several newspapers and literary magazines. I published some of my most famous short stories in an 1840 collection, Tales of the Grotesque and Arabesque. I incorporate anadiplosis, anargia, symbolism, and a lot of different literary devices when writing. During my lifetime, I barely made any money. I was known for inventing detective fiction when I wrote The Murders in the Rue Morgue, and also writing The Raven, which was one of my most famous pieces. Now I'll be reading two poems that I wrote. The first is a Valentine. For her this rhyme is penned, whose luminous eyes, brightly expressive as the twins of Loida, shall find her own sweet name, that nestling lies upon the page and wrapped from every reader. Search narrowly the lines, they hold a treasure, divine, a talisman, an amulet, that must be worn at heart. Search well the measure, the words, the syllables, do not forget the trivialest point, or you may lose your labor. And yet there is in this no Gordon knot, which one might not undo without a saber. If one could merely comprehend the plot, and written upon the leaf where now are peering eyes scintillating, soul, where lie Purtis, three eloquent words oft uttered in the hearing of poets, by poets, as the name is a poet's, too. Its letters, although naturally lying, like the Knight Pinto, Mendez, Ferdinando, still form a synonym for truth. Cease trying! You will not read the riddle, though you do the best you can do. I wrote this poem about one of my lovers. Her name is hidden within the lines. Her name is Frances Sargent Osgood. The first letter of the first line, the second letter of the second line, and so on, spells out her name. This next poem I'm going to read is called To the River. Fair river in the bright, clear flow of crystal, wandering water, thou art an emblem of the glow of beauty, the unhidden heart, the playful maziness of art in old Alberto's daughter. But when within the waves she looks, which glistens then and trembles, why then the prettiest of brooks her worshipper resembles. For in his heart, as in thy stream, her image deeply lies, his heart which trembles at the beam of her soul-searching eyes. This poem is about a woman I once was in love with. I compare the beauty of the river to my new love.